Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my new episode of What Does It Take to Get the Right Shot? Today, we are going to talk about the memory cards. Memory cards are your best friends because if you forget it or for some reason the memory card is full, there is no way that you can take pictures. Now, the most common memory cards that we have in the market right now are the SD card or the compact flash. Now, which one we should buy? Well, it depends what kind of camera you do have. Some cameras allows you only the small one, SD card. Some cameras allows you only to fit the compact flash. When we look in the market what kind of memory card we should buy, we all think, let's go cheap. We have so different prices on the same card that sometimes we get lost and we ask ourselves, so which one should I buy? We have in the market 8 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes, 32, 64, 128, even 256 gigabytes. And we don't know which one to buy. So the easiest way is always the cheapest way. Is it always the right way to purchase something? Well, in this specific case, we have to pay attention on a different way. Now, in our mind, we think that the bigger is better. If I buy a 256 gigabyte storage card, well, I can fit more pictures in there, which is absolutely true. Now, we have to pay attention because the camera thinks differently than what we think. Now, for me, if I buy let's say 32 gigabytes storage card, in my mind, when I shot pictures for 16 gigabytes, in my idea, the card is half empty because I still have 16 gigabytes that I can put pictures in. For the camera, unfortunately, it's the opposite. The camera thinks that it's half full. What is the difference? Now, it's still 16 gigabyte used, 16 gigabyte to use. Yes, but let me give you this sample that I believe it really fits well talking about the memory cards. Let's pretend that we have a walk-in closet. The walk-in closet is a 2x2, and you have a party, and your wife or your husband keeps telling you, oh, you gotta put those boxes in the storage, put it in the walk-in closet right away because our guests are coming. So what we do, we grab the boxes and we put it in the storage. We don't start from the bottom corner. We usually start from the entrance. So we just put the boxes in there, and at some point, the front door is filled of the boxes, but you still have more than half walk-in closet empty on the back. So what do? You have two options. You push the boxes from the front door to the back, and then you keep storage the other boxes in front, or you have to walk through the boxes to fit other boxes on the back. Both choices are good. Both choices will take some time. This is how the camera works. Every time you click, the camera takes the pictures for you, and it takes some time to storage the picture in your memory card. The more pictures you take at the same moment, multiple shots, the more time at some point the camera will take to storage the pictures. So if you keep clicking multiple shots, like 12 pictures per second, which is the maximum that the camera can allow you to do at this point, at some point the camera stops. It doesn't allow you to take any further picture for millisecond or a second. And what's going to happen in those milliseconds, seconds? Well, the camera says, hold on a second, you gave me so many information that I need to store it somehow. Now, if the card is empty, it's easier. And it's quicker because the camera can storage the pictures right away in the card. When the card is half full, no matter how big it is, it takes more time for the camera to find the empty spot to storage your picture. So the walk-in closet, if it's 2 by 2, it's true that you fill your walk-in closet sooner because it's smaller, it's just a 2 by 2, but it's also true that it's quicker to find the empty spot left. Instead, if you have a 4 by 4 or a 8 by 8, now if you have a 8 by 8, for the first half, it's easier for you to storage the boxes in front. But at some point, it will require more time for you to find the empty spots that you have. So even if you still have 4 by 4 empty on an 8 by 8 because you filled just the first half, it will require more time to push the boxes at the bottom corner, or to find the empty spots. So for the card is the same. If you do want a well-performant storage card that always supports you while you are keep taking pictures, if you have a bigger storage card like a 1632 or even 6428 gigabytes, yes, you can storage more pictures, but it will require at some point more time for the camera to storage the pictures, which means it will require more time that the camera pose. It doesn't allow you to click. Now, again, this is the difference between a pro photographer and an amateur photographer or vacation photographer. If you are in a vacation, probably you will never use the multiple shot. You take a picture and you have a lot of time to let the camera think how to storage the picture. The problem are coming when, for example, you are a pro sport photographer and the soccer player is still running to you with the soccer ball, and maybe it's crossing to another player and you need to keep clicking and follow the soccer ball or the player. You need that your camera is very well performant. Your card, it's part of it because you are keep clicking and you cannot stop. Every time you stop, you might miss the action. And you cannot miss the action because you get paid to get that action in pictures. So you need that your storage card is well performant. Now, even the battery, it's a good help, because if the battery is well charged, 100%, 90%, it will work way faster in your camera than if you have a 20% left in your battery. So everything works together. We need to let everything work together. So my suggestion is, if you are going into a vacation, you want to buy a 64 or even 128 gigabyte card, because then you can storage all your memories in once, and you don't need a spare card to fit in the pocket where you risk to lose it, or put it in your backpack where you have all the rest of your equipment or any other stuff, and the risk is that you lose it. If you are a sport photographer, if you are a pro photographer and you are out there, or a nature and landscape photographer, and I'm photographing the lion or the bald eagle, I need to be sure that I will bring the job back. And at some point I might took so many pictures that the card, it's getting slower because it's half full. Now, instead of buying a 64 gigabytes, I prefer to buy two 32 gigabyte cards. When once is full, I just change it. 90% of the time, I will have the time to download the pictures into my computer before to take other pictures. So it will always be empty, it will always be more performant. So the walk-in closet example is just to give you an idea how we think compare how the camera thinks. We think I push the boxes right in the front door, and at some point, yes, I will take some more time to find the empty spot at the back, or I will push what I have in front into the back. For the camera is the same, because I still want to click, and I'm asking the camera to keep clicking. The camera just put all the information, storage the pictures right away wherever it finds spots, empty spots. Once the empty spots are half, and for the camera is when the card is half full, it will require more time to find the empty spot. And the bigger the card is, the more quick pictures you can storage at the beginning, but the more time will require at some point to storage the pictures, because the empty spot is still bigger, but it's behind. So it will require more time. Another important factor to consider when we buy a memory card is the speed. What do I mean? I mean that as you can see on the image here, on the SD card, which is on the right, you can read the class of the card, which they are usually 4. Can be 2, 4, 6, and 10. The number represents the minimum sustained megabytes per second write speed. The higher the number, the faster the sustained speed. For the compact flash, which is on the left, instead of the classes, you can read the megabytes per second write speed. Same thing, the higher the number, the faster the sustained speed. So now we know that if we want to take multiple shots with our camera, we will need a very performant card that can write my pictures, my images fast. The faster, the less milliseconds I will have to wait until I can click again. So my suggestion is, if you want to become a pro photographer, I will suggest you to have 3, 4, 5 cards. As you can see here, you have a little bag that stores all your cards. You have your SD card, compact flash, you have spare cards. If you are going to vacation, buy a big one and you storage them all, because you will download them all in once at the end of your trip, but at the same time you won't probably need that amount of time to click, because you have the time between the clicks. So yes, honestly, if you buy a 64 gigabytes card, it's going to be a little bit cheaper than to buy 2 per 32 gigabyte cards. Cheaper, it's better. Sometimes well performant, it's better than cheaper. So that's why I always suggest buy more than one, save all your pictures. Instead of letting the camera work slower, just change your card. If you have 10 minutes, download the pictures in the computer so you can format the card, which means that it's getting back to the best performance ever. Try to keep your battery as charged as possible. And I think this is it for today. Now, I hope you understood what I meant when I gave you the example about the walk-in closet compared to the storage card. For today, this is all. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Thank you so much for listening, and I see you for the next video.